Michigan.
December 9th, 2023. If it's 7 o'clock on Saturday morning, it's time for This Week in Waukesha on WAUK Radio 540 AM, 101.1 FM, The Shaw. I'm your host, Downtown Donnie Browne, coming to you live and local from the office of former Alderman Don Paul Browne, also known as the Walk Radio Studios here in the old NAMI building at 217 Wisconsin Avenue, right around the corner from Theodore Yeomans Park, where we are proud to honor our suffragette heritage here in the Shaw. And before I introduce this morning's guest, I have a correction from last night's Friday Night Game of the Week broadcast, in which the North Stars of North triumphed over the Black Shirts of the South. 77-63. We'll get to that later. I mentioned that the Winter Indoor Farmers Market was going to happen today at Chef Pam's from 9 to 12. It's actually next Saturday, so my apologies to those of you that might have made some big plans. Move it back a week to Saturday the 16th from 9 to 12:30. So, again, my apologies, but plenty of great shopping here in downtown Waukesha, especially here on a Saturday. So, this morning's guests are great representatives, great ambassadors for Waukesha South High School. And we'll start with Gina Nordrum. Did I say her surname correctly?
Yes.
Fantastic. She teaches family and consumer education at Waukesha South. And she is here in another capacity as part of her duties there. She's the, should we say, the leader or the advisor to the SALT program, not the Strategic Arms and Limitations Treaty for any of you Cold War veterans like myself. I should say not veteran, but denizens. It stands for Student Athlete Leadership Team.
Correct.
And she has brought one of these student leaders, Senior Meredith Marks. Welcome, Meredith.
Yes, hello. I'm excited to be here.
So, hey, and a big shout out to your mom and dad, Christine and Peter, who celebrated 22 years of wedded bliss yesterday. And you guys celebrated with a nice dinner, I heard.
We did. It was very nice. Yeah.
Sounds great. And Pete, Christine, anyone else listening, we're taking your calls anytime here, 844 967-2789. Did I get that right on you?
It sounds right to me.
And our faithful producer, Anastasia, is back in the studio. Welcome back.
Thank you.
So we last week, while Anya was out, we had Greg Bach, who does a lot of work with the Kristen Bry Show, as goes Wisconsin, as well as with Up North News with Pat Kreitlow. And Greg is a real gem. And it was a real treat having him here because he grew up in Waukesha. And so it was really neat when I had Mayor Sean Riley on that. Those two had a lot of great stories to share about growing up here in the Shaw. They're also alumni of Catholic Memorial High School, so they also got to share some great memories that way. So thanks again to Greg for filling in. But very grateful to have Anastasia back. And so let's talk about SALT. Gina, would you like to start?
Yeah, sure. It is a program that is nationwide, actually, in high schools. And what we do is we help our students to work on their leadership skills, to take back to their teams, to help their teammates, and just to become better leaders in the community. We do a lot of community work, and the kids that are at South are top-notch. I can't say enough about them, especially Meredith over here.
Oh, yes, I agree. Yep, I've come to know Meredith over the years. She was on the dance team with my daughter Jordan for a couple of years there, and of course, with her parents being so active in the boosters, it's been really great knowing your family. And so, how do you assist in the development of the student athlete as a leader?
Well, we meet once a week, and my philosophy is that they don't want to hear what I have to say or what I think is great.
Sure.
I like them to tell me what are things they want to work on or what are things they think are important for our community or school. And they have really taken the reins, and I kind of just help them and navigate some of the stuff that maybe they don't need to worry about right now. So, for instance, we had a leadership summit that we ran just for South High School. So, athletes, club members, team members, they could come to our leadership conference. And I just pretty much did the logistics. Like had it at Carol. So, I called Carol, did that.
Nice.
The kids did everything else. They planned everything. They pretty much ran the show. So,
that's terrific. I like hearing that. And, I have to tell you, we went to the open house on Wednesday night.
Yep.
At Waukesha South. And because our youngest will be a freshman this fall, and she'll be enrolling into the engineering academy. And so it was really, my impression of South is it's a very tight culture in terms of the student-teacher interaction and the great relationships and seeing the students having great opportunities to participate.
Yep.
And so many different avenues. We mentioned sports a lot, but if sports isn't your thing, there's robotics, there's drama, there is the mock trial team, which is 2 state championships in the last 3 years, and then in between they finished 4th. And
our esports team has won 2.
Yep, I've had them on the show before, and I guess they're going back. I heard too. So congrats to Mr. Andrew Yep and his team. And Mr. Yep will tell you he just has the keys to the facility. It's really much the young students that really drive that program. So, how do you encourage sportsmanship and leadership?
I think the first thing that I say to the kids that want to be on our team is that everybody's looking at you. Everybody's kind of looking at what are you doing? So carrying yourself in a positive manner in school, in the community, at your job, all of that stuff is really key to being a leader. And we also focus a lot on what can you do for your teammates? What can you do for the other people in the school? You see the one kid who maybe is sitting alone or doesn't have something to do, go over to them, ask them what's going on, befriend them. Mr. Schreier is also very, very, Dan Schreier, athletic director. He's really, really, he's another advisor pretty much for our group. He's really involved and invested in SALT. And one thing he does with our SALT kids that I absolutely love is he tells them once a week, do something like just go up to a teacher and ask them how their day is. Just something kind, something that is going to help somebody feel better. You never know when somebody just needs that little positive in their life.
Right.
And we really want the students that are in our program or in our school to just feel like they're part of something and feel comfortable with being a leader and talking to adults and organizing things. And so hopefully when they go on to adult life, whether it's college, a job, whatever, that they have that confidence to be a leader in whatever they're going to do.
Okay. So here's another, how does SALT interact with the coaches in terms of encouraging that leadership? Or does that...
Well, that's something that I would like to focus on. This is my first year being the SALT advisor. So I kind of came in. We did have a SALT program before, so I'm new to it. The kids aren't new. The program's not new. So I would like to work a lot closer with the coaches. I know Coach Lee Montez and I have talked about how we can work together to help all the kids on the team become leaders and things like that. So I want to do more with the coaches, and maybe we can have a leadership conference for the coaches someday, instead of having it for the other kids.
Idea.
But, coming and saying, okay, these are the things that the kids want to see. The SALT team is actually going to lead, in January, is going to lead our our staff meeting.
Wow.
For the staff members at South. So they are going to organize what the staff members are going to do during their.
We would love to get a report on that.
Yes. Yeah. The kids were excited. The teachers are excited. So it'll be interesting to see what they think we need to work on.
Good. No, that's terrific. And we have 3 minutes before we have to stop for some important messages, some important community messages. But I wanted to mention, last night in the classic North-South crosstown rivalry, the North Stars did snap what we believe is a 6-game losing streak to the Black Shirts, finally beating them 77-63. Now, the game was much closer to that. At halftime was 36-35 in favor of North, and the lead had changed several times. It was a very exciting first half. Second half, also the first 10 minutes was very exciting. South came out of the gates flying. At one point, they were up 7 on Waukesha North. But North Stars, tough and gritty, just like our Black Shirts, came back strong, led by, I believe it was 27 points from A.J. Curtis, quarterback, and also a baseball standout for North, a 3-sport athlete. And really great theater, if you will, for sport. Just great, and great expressions of sportsmanship, because, guys, they were banging heads. It was like a football game in many ways, very physical, but they were opponents helping each other up after like the foul a lot of these guys grew up together, so it is fun when that can happen. Now, so Black Shirts moved to 2-3, 0-2 in the conference. North is now 2-2, 1-1 in the Classic 8, and I know South comes back home to play Muskego this Tuesday. But the big question is, for our new Friday Game of the Week series, which game should we broadcast? We have South going to that's next Friday the 15th. South is going to Oconomowoc. West is hosting McGuanago, and North is hosting Kettle Moraine. So we'd love to hear from which game would you like us to broadcast next Friday. We're taking your calls, 844-967-2789. You can also text the same number. And so keep that in mind. We definitely want to, with our new series, we want to showcase some of the other Waukesha high schools. But, of course, as we know, I have a certain preference for the Black Shirts and Waukesha South. So after these messages, we're going to hear more from Meredith Marks and from Gina Nordrum, her advisor, about the SALT program at South, plus some more happenings in the community here, as well as some other commemorations as This Week in Waukesha continues. Do not go away.
She means a lot to me, but I know she's got a hard time and I'm making me give it up. Share it out. Help who you can. I know you can. Talk about it. Talk about it. In the drunk tank, an old man said to me, won't say another one. And then he sang a song, the rare old mountain tune. I turned my face away and dreamed about you.
And we're back this week in Waukesha, and you're listening to what is arguably the greatest Christmas song of the 20th century. It's called Fairy Tale of New York, with the Pogues and the late Kirsty MacColl. And that song, which was introduced in 1987, I believe, or 89, has jumped to number 1 on the Irish charts in commemoration of Shane McGowan, who had died last week at the age of 65, a personal hero of mine and a great musician who revolutionized music, turning Irish traditional music into punk and adding a real edge to it, and considered one of the great songwriters, perhaps, of all time. And quite a turnout for his funeral yesterday, which started in Dublin and ended in his native Tipperary. And Shane, big hit with the Irish in America, because Shane had grown up in London, and that is what had shaped his passion for music and being kind of that, having that diasporic connection to the old country, like many of us Irish Americans do. And Meredith, you're in the marching band, right?
I am, yeah.
So maybe for the Christmas concert, do you think you guys could learn Fairy Tale of New York? You can't sing it. There are some
Ooh.
vulgarities in it, but the song, it's
I
just quite
mean,
lovely.
Our Christmas concert is next week, Wednesday.
So you'd really have to rush to
yeah,
kind
we
of
would
fit something
probably have
in.
to
So,
rush.
but yeah, maybe in just a few, would be a really nice ode to Shane McGowan. But we are back here this week in Waukesha on WAUK Radio, 101.1 FM, 540 AM, the Shaw. And if you're here in Waukesha, 101.1 FM works better. If you're outside of Waukesha, like say in places like Merton, it's 540 AM. But I highly recommend downloading the Civic Media app if you haven't already, because then you can catch us anytime. And then you can also enjoy shows from around the Civic Media stratosphere. We have over 20 stations in Wisconsin, and I keep losing count.
Over 24 now.
Over 24
wow.
now. Thanks, Anastasia. Yeah. And I was actually invited. I was a surprise guest on a new show from Pete Schwab. I believe it's called Late Night.
It's called Night Light.
Night Light. Okay. And Pete is all about what's going on around the state, and a lot of talk about TV shows and movies, things we enjoy most. And Pete, it turns out, Pete came back from L.A., but he's from Marinette originally, and we figured out that that Pete was part of the Marinette Schwabas, and I used to work with his sister Julie down in Evanston, Illinois, in the restaurant business, and Julie's also returned from L.A. to Marinette. I believe she's an accomplished photographer, so it's good to have the Schwabas back in Wisconsin. I mean, Pete's got a great show. I highly recommend listening to it. What's the Green Bay channel again? Anya, you can...
Well, now you're just trying to stump me.
I know. Well, I'm embarrassed. I should know this myself, but it's he's on that, which you can get from the Civic Media app.
That is WGBW up in Green Bay.
Up in the Bay. So, but great show. And Pete's going to tune in for a little bit next Saturday on this show, so we can get to know him a little better. But my main guests are the Swartz brothers.
Ooh.
Billy Swartz, who coaches soccer and was a great soccer and basketball player both in high school and at Ripon College. And then his younger brother, Julian, who is considered the greatest basketball player in Waukesha South history, an accomplished Division I basketball coach, currently scouting for Northwestern in the Big Ten. So it'll be really great having them on. 3 generations of Swartzes in Waukesha South. Their father, Bill, coached for many years. And I believe Tuesday the 19th, when South is back at home again against West, I believe they're going to be honoring Julian Swartz there.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's nice.
cool. Yeah.
So, yep, I believe they're still finalizing details, but I think it'll be really great to have this family on and talking about their long legacy here in the Shaw.
Julian was our guest speaker, or a main
Was he?
speaker at our sportsmanship conference. Yeah,
I love it.
He was. It was an amazing.
It was very good.
It was really good.
Sure. And, when South had that great basketball team that won the Classic 8 and they went all the way to the regional final, Julian flew back for that game against Racing Case. It was at McGuanago, and because he was on the last team that went to the regional finals in '99, so it was really, a lot of people were really excited and really happy to see him there.
Yeah.
In spite of the loss, and so Julian's team had also lost into the same high school, Racine Case. So, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep. So, but I understand you're also involved in some community service projects. Meredith, can you
Yes,
tell
we
us
are.
about that?
Yeah, for sure. So we have a lot of stuff, community service activities coming up pretty soon. Our next big event is in January. We are actually helping the Hope Center move, which we are
Next
very
door to
excited
us
for.
here.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So
Where are they moving?
they're moving to the old state bank
The
building.
one they're
The
remodeling.
bank. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
right on the corner.
So it'll still be here in the Shaw.
Yes.
Okay,
So
in
they're
downtown.
moving. Yep, right in downtown, the center. But yeah, so they're moving to a building,
Okay.
and so we are actually partnering with other organizations too in South. So our Kindness Club and Ecology Club is going to help us with SALT, and then also Student Council. So it will be and Key Club as well. So
Key
it will
Club.
be a
Very
big
cool.
representation of South and
It sure
hopefully,
is.
helping a good cause move to a nicer building. So that's coming up. We're also doing possibly helping kindergartners at Higher, and so we're going to be getting gifts for
nice.
them. And
That's going to be fun.
yeah, we're really excited for that.
Oh, my gosh.
And then also we'll probably be doing Big Brothers and Big Sisters as well. In
Excellent
the future.
program. Carroll University Athletics has been involved in that, too. So
It's a great program. And then
Terrific.
something that, so we had our own South Leadership Conference within our school, but then we would also like to take it to the middle school area too. And so we're going to also be doing a middle school conference as well. And the details are still in the works.
That is an excellent idea because middle schoolers could really benefit from any education on student leadership and being their own. That's such a tough time. It's probably the worst 2 years of my life. And and I keep telling my daughter's an 8th grader today, it's a few more weeks and the worst days are behind you. So, yep. So we have 2 minutes before our next stop for some important community messages. But really quick, I understand, Meredith, you have a choice between a couple fine universities that have accepted you. And are we closer to a decision, or can we at least name who the finalists are?
Yeah. So I think the finalist is St. Norbert College up in De Pere, Wisconsin.
St. Norbert College up in Brown County. That's where you're going to go then, huh?
Yeah, I would like to go there. They have
Congratulations.
I would like to go for a biology major on the PA track.
Okay. Wow.
So thank you. Yeah.
Sure. And what was the other school you were choosing between?
La Crosse.
La Crosse. That's right. A lot of Waukesha South alumni at La Crosse, including my daughter Jordan and our neighbor Tommy Karinko, whose younger brother Gavin was part of a victorious effort beating North in the JV1 game. So that was a lot of fun. Yeah, and it was Luke Trendle that cashed a 3 to win the game. So when we come back from these important messages, more with Meredith Marks and Gina Nordrum from Waukesha Salt, as well as some downtown shopping experiences as This Week in Waukesha continues. Do not go away.
They got cars big as bars, they got rivers of gold, but the windows right through you, it's no place for the old. When you first took my hand on a cold Christmas Eve, you promised me Broadway was waiting for me. You were handsome,
You were pretty queen of New York City. When the band finished playing, they held out for more.
Sinatra was swinging, all the jokes they were singing. We kissed on the corner, then danced through the night. The boys of the NYPD choir were singing.
They said there'll be snow at Christmas. They said there'll be peace on earth. But instead it just kept on raining. A veil of tears for the virgin birth. I remember.
Hey, we're back this week in Waukesha, and that is another one of my favorite Christmas songs, I Believe in Father Christmas by Greg Lake, formerly of Emerson Lake and Palmer. Do you remember them, Gina?
Yes, I do.
Yep. Ooh, what a lucky man
Yes.
he was. And Gina is joined by Meredith Marks, one of our more accomplished seniors who has announced here on this show to the world that she is committing to St. Norbert's. So congratulations.
Woohoo!
Will you be involved in music or dance at St. Norbert's while you're there?
I don't know. I'm still trying to decide
Sure.
on that. I would like to do. St. Norbert does not have a marching band,
Okay.
so if anything, I would do like a concert band
There you go.
kind of thing. But yeah,
Or maybe you could lead the effort to start a marching
I
band.
could.
I mean, they have good
That would be
athletics
fun.
there. So,
Mhm.
and I know their cheerleaders also do Packer games, if I remember correctly. Is that still a
I think
thing?
so, yeah.
Yeah.
it might be. Yeah,
So, yeah.
they do. St. Norbert does a lot with the Packers,
Yeah.
so it's kind of cool.
It's a great story about Carroll University, who will be broadcasting their women's game at 2:00. That about 7 or 8 years ago, when President Cindy Nattinger had started, she goes to a football game and they're getting crushed like 80-0, and she notices there's no marching band, and I think she looks at her husband or someone says no, and like really led an effort to build up a real robust athletic program. A lot of young leadership there. Talk about student leaders and a lot of great students, and just a really great, really strong culture now, and a marching band that does a fantastic job. And it's neat to see that school spirit heighten through music and athletics and all the extracurriculars there. And we see that at South too. You know, my wife Melissa, who's president of the Boosters, one of the great accolades she had heard about South was one of the boosters had told her that a mom, an 8th grade mom, a year or two ago had done the open house at all 3 schools. And of course, you know, West is the big shiny penny with all the best resources and, you know, number one, this and that. She said, but when I came to South from the minute you walked in the door, you felt like you got a warm hug.
Yeah.
And I thought that was just such a great testimonial about Black Shirt Nation.
Yeah, we're a family.
Yeah.
We are a family. We have a huge alumni following. In fact, I recently moved out to Merton, and my neighbors are South graduates from
Love it.
the 50s.
Wow.
Neat.
So it's been really great to talk with them, and just their passion for South
Right.
these many years later just
Yeah.
shows what a special place it is.
Oh, that's neat. Did
Yeah.
they come out for many of the games or anything
No,
like that?
not
or- yeah.
they are involved with and I can't remember what it's called. It's a breakfast thing they do, the
Oh,
black
neat.
shirts.
Oh, Black
Okay.
Shirt breakfast.
How
But
fun.
yeah,
My grandpa goes to that.
Yeah, so they
Oh,
probably
neat.
know that my neighbors.
So your grandpa went to South too?
He did. Well, a lot of my mom's side of the family all
Okay.
went to South.
And your mom went to South as
Yeah.
well? So you are third generation Waukesha South.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a rarity these days, the way families move around a lot. But that's a great thing here. Waukesha, like when Mayor Riley was on last week, Mayor Sean Riley, not Richard Daley, that's Chicago. But Sean, I didn't realize he said the Riley family has lived in Waukesha for over 100 years.
Oh wow.
And so that's really cool. And that's what, Sean, I call him that, we're friends. Mayor Sean said that he hates when people call Waukesha another suburb because it's so much more than that. It's a university city, a lot of history, and it's just, a lot of great things going on. And this is a great little segue into a shopping experience I had in downtown Waukesha this Wednesday, where I started at Antiques and Uniques. And a couple items I was looking for clients included something about astronauts, because this one client, she's really passionate about astronauts and space travel, and that's one of her things. And I couldn't find it. I thought for sure, because there's always everything. And the other client is big into Cheerios, like me. So, and more on Cheerios in a second, but couldn't find it. I was surprised. I thought, because there's all these great relics in there, but the two of the women working the front counter said that it changes just about every day, because all those little, it's kind of like a bazaar that all these little areas are artisans or collectors sublet them, and they keep coming in every day and putting in new items. And so that's why it's worth to keep going back there. And if nothing else, just the museum experience. On my Facebook post this morning, I was in the basement and found an old painting of the Angelus, which was a kind of a famous, a lot of Catholic homes had them. And it's like an old farm couple doing their 6 o'clock Angelus, or their 6 in the morning, which is, part of the old school Catholic ritual. And, but just a really powerful, kind of piece of art. And I thought that was neat. And so I had to capture that, as well as, I don't know if I put this in, but there was like an old telephone, like a dial, like.
Oh geez.
Yeah,
Meredith, do you
and
know what that is, Meredith?
Yeah, exactly.
I've seen them.
So,
In the museum?
Yeah.
yeah. So, even though I struck out on both fronts, I did, this one client also was into pickles. She makes lots of pickles and creates, and I found a really neat, an old school, relish, jar
Ooh.
that you use a spoon to, put on your hot dog or whatever you use relish for. And she said relish on it, and I just thought it was cute.
Perfect.
So I'm going to get that and fill it with some candy. And so I think that'll be nice. But so then I headed next door, or a couple doors down, and their side is Civic Theater. Civic Theater, by the way, they're doing a presentation of a stage adaptation of A Christmas Story, which might be everyone's favorite comedic Christmas movie.
Great.
And hey, this will be fun. When everyone's home, we'll see if we can get 6 tickets. And no, I mean, it's pretty much sold out all the way. I mean, maybe you might catch some weeknight or whenever they have, but the weekends when we want to go, Friday and Saturday. And hats off to them, because you think community theater, they're just kind of getting by, or no, they're sold out, or they're there's little onesies in between, for seats. And what do you do with those? Do you give them away, or do you fill them with kids, or, whatever? But hats off to Rhonda and the whole crew at Civic Theater for a lot of the success they continue to have, especially with and that is kind of a courageous endeavor, doing a stage adaptation of A Christmas Story. So
Yeah, well, I
think
hope
just
they have
'cause
the
there's so
lamp.
much content. Yeah,
I
they
hope
gotta
they
have
have the lamp.
Yeah.
That's in the promotional. So
Okay.
the lamp. So I think that stays in. So, but then I crossed over to the Joke Shop, which the owner, he's been there the last 7 or 8 years. He used to shop there as a kid, and it was one of those. He loved it so much he bought the company. And but I always think of that one Seinfeld where the joke store called. They're running out of you, and so I always, whenever I walk by there, I have to say that to somebody. But There's some neat items, but be careful. I don't know if I'd get any of those, like, there's like fart and poop things like kids get in that. Some kids have gotten into trouble, I think, in some of the schools for using the fart spray.
Yeah,
or
it's terrible. The stink bombs in the first. Yeah.
The owner, John, says, do that. If you do it outside.
Yeah.
And then throw everything out in the garbage when you're done. So, because if you do it inside, that stink is going to stick around for a very long time. So, but then I had a lot of success at plowshares. And I know we're talking about buying locally, but it's what is it? Acting locally, thinking globally, and it's a great opportunity when you go to plowshares. You're buying stuff from artisans making things at the most local levels in different countries, and some really great stuff. I got one client likes to write, like she loves to write and do photography, and this was like kind of a journal made from like really cool paper.
Oh wow!
Like I think it might have been made from like not from trees, and but there was a really cool butterfly design in the front, so I was really happy with that purchase, and I'm definitely gonna go back there to get some more for when it's time to shop for the family. And but here's the, I guess, critique, and I want to be really constructive, is I was really amazed at the number of stores closed on a Wednesday. I know like a lot of stores will be closed on a Monday or a Tuesday, and kind of the missed opportunity was there was a family from La Crosse that was perusing the antiques, antiques and uniques, and they were asking the ladies up front for more like places to go to, and we kind of, did you go to this time, there's more jewelry stores. Did you go to Burlap and Lace? Did you have lunch at any of our fine establishments? Like People's Park is a great place for shopping, and so many more. And they're like, and I mentioned too, there's all these other little, not necessarily antique malls, but like artisanal malls. Like one of the exhibitors at the farmers market, Michelle Check, like she makes tables. And they said, all those places were closed. And I'm like, so it'd really be neat, for the city, for Downtown Business Association, the chamber, where we can join forces to maybe develop that retail. And I'm thinking like, because I was in the restaurant business, and the big thing was to be open 7 days a week. And the owner I'd worked for, if he hadn't died in 95, I would probably be still working for him. He was a real visionary, real impresario. And he always hired and trained people he could trust so that he could take some nights off. And it would be, that could be an opportunity for Salt, whereas with some of these one-person shops, you could have someone covering and trained and how to count money. I mean, I know there's, we say accountability for error is very high, and there's risk, but I think it'd be an amazing experience for our young people where they could provide coverage on some of these off days, because you're going to have out-of-town visitors that come on a Monday or Tuesday. You're going to have people that Mondays or Tuesdays might be the only good days to shop. And boy, we'd love to keep them here in Waukesha.
Yeah.
Because the ladies at Antiques ended up sending them to the Corners, and hats off. I'm not a big mall person, but Corners does a lot of things right.
Yeah, they do a lot of fun.
The lighted parking ramps,
the movies,
the street parking. So, and some of the concepts are neat. So, and I'll do some shopping there, I confess. But boy, if we can, with this really historic downtown, I think there's some really unique opportunities. If we can attract some entrepreneurs and some unique concepts, I think we could really have a lot of fun here. Cool. So
that would be fun. Really nice. Or that would be something that I'm sure that we, as a SALT team, we are open to help anybody that needs help in our community. I mean, this is our home. This is our family. So
yeah, and I love that. I love that feeling, and that as a student, Meredith, like what would you like to see in downtown Waukesha from a retail experience, or as again, you'll be a college student in another year. It's like, what would you like to see that would compel you, your family, your friends to come downtown more? What do you think's missing?
Well, I really love going to like the Steaming Cup or Mountaintop Cafe.
Yeah.
So like there's some really nice spots downtown.
There are.
That are nice to like go and study at, or meet up with a friend. My mom and I like to go shop at Burlap and Lace, and also Flippin' Fabulous is the new one.
That's the one. That's got a lot of, if it's the one I'm thinking about, and I believe that was one that was closed, it's got a lot of great Wisconsin gifts from like smaller towns in Wisconsin, like chocolates and a lot of cool Wisconsin like swag, if you will. Is that right? Is that the place?
It's more, it's like apparel.
Yes.
A lot of faith-based kind of things as well.
Okay.
It has a lot of different everything. There's like dips in the back, and it's a very nice, cute little
owner,
store.
you could tell she had experience as a corporate, like a retail buyer, because she really did her homework. Like I remember getting like chocolates, I think, for my wife for Mother's Day or for her birthday. That was from like this small town in Wisconsin, and had really cool packaging. It might have even been like a metal, like Altoids looking kind of
Yeah.
container. And I really, I liked that because that was unique. That's someone you couldn't get anywhere else. And I think that's what I was one of those guys when I shopped. I wanted to find those places. I was willing to spend a little extra money to find those out of the way things that you couldn't get anywhere else and were maybe unique to Waukesha or had a story behind them.
Yep.
Yeah.
So-
And my family and I, we like to shop
Yeah,
local. So like
sure.
we don't really like sure, we will go to like a big box, but we would much
Right.
rather support local businesses. So
Yeah.
for sure, maybe like more little shops, like boutiques. That would be really fun to see.
It really would.
Back
It
to-
really would. Yeah. Yeah. As I was going around that Antiques and Uniques, I saw some like millinery offerings, those old school like women's hats.
Mhm.
That really, and I think they survive. They continue to survive the test of time because for special occasions, I think those are fun to wear if you're a woman. And I think it'd be neat to see some fedoras for the men,
Yeah, I
So,
love fedoras.
especially
Yep.
since the thatch has gotten pretty thin there on the top. It's so. But yeah, no. Thanks for sharing your thoughts on that. And we have we have another minute here. When we come back from the break, we're going to have the Carol Minute. Some other student athletes have gotten some great recognition, so we'll continue on that. Plus, more about shopping in Waukesha and a lot going on in our city, including the new winter recreational guide that has come out. So stick around. Lots to unpack here in this holiday season here in This Week in Waukesha. And happy Hanukkah. Day 3 is tonight for my friends of that faith. And happy holidays for everyone. So we'll stick around. More on This Week in Waukesha.
I wish you a hopeful Christmas. I wish you a brave new year. All anguish, pain, and sadness, leave your heart and let your road be clear. They said there'd be snow at Christmas. They said there'd be peace on earth. Hallelujah.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
The Shaw, WAUK.
You're listening.
The lamp is burning low upon my tabletop. The snow is softly falling.
Do you recognize this song, Gina?
Yes.
You do?
Silence of my room.
Is
That's
this
good.
Gordon Lightfoot?
Gordon Lightfoot, yes.
Okay. Oh my
Hey,
gosh,
we're
my
back this
husband would
week
be
in
so
Waukesha.
proud. I hope you-
WAUK Radio. Gordon Lightfoot, a fine North American musician from Canada who passed away earlier this year. And as I was, kind of doing my ode to Gordon Lightfoot, who I always loved, I stumbled across that song, which I'd never heard. I believe it's a Winter Night's Tale. Is that a Winter Night's song, Anya?
Song for a Winter's Night off
Even-
of Gord's Gold.
Off Gord's, even an even better name for a song for a winter's night, and that's it's just so soothing and they do kind of you hear a little bit of that holiday in there, but like that'd be a great song on a depressing night in January to put on, love Gordon Lightfoot, and hey, that was great, props to Gina for remembering. We're gonna have a little kind of a quiz, a one question quiz for Meredith later on in the show
yay.
about some history that happened this week. So get ready. But now it's time for the Carol Minute. And again, we'll be there at 2:00 broadcasting the women's game today. Pregame starts at 1:30. But congrats to 3 Pio football players who were named to the D3Football.com all-region team, starting with punter Noah Strevler, the junior from Stevens Point, was named first team. Kicker Jacob Laurent, the senior from Kenosha, was named second team. And defensive end Nick Montes, the senior from Northbrook, Illinois' Glenbrook North High School, where the Breakfast Club was filmed, was named third team. And Jacob Laurent was also named a finalist for the prestigious Fred Mitchell Award, which recognizes the top 10 collegiate place kickers for their excellence on the field and their community service off the field. Jacob Laurent played, and this would be a great guy to have for a SALT event. He played a key role in organizing a Special Olympics bowling outing while also serving as a CCIW SAAC board member, which is a student athlete commission. He was active in Big Brothers Big Sisters of Greater Milwaukee, a community volunteer. And then he helped organize Carroll's football partnership with the Big Brothers Big Sisters. He also worked as a community Carroll University fellow for 3 years, which is an elevated student work position. So you'll see him helping to run day-to-day operations for Carroll's athletics department. And then here's what really impressed me is he organized a clothing and food drive for the homeless shelter through Lakeside Lutheran Church, where he has also served as a communion volunteer. He's also volunteered at a soup kitchen. He organized a fundraiser for children in need of school supplies and is a proud member of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, FCA, at Carroll University, another national organization. His dream is to serve his community by becoming a firefighter. So Chief Steve Howard or Assistant Chief Joe Hoffman has been on the show twice. If you're listening, we got to keep her here.
Yeah.
Fine young man, Jacob Lawrence, and I'll probably see him later today at the game. So the CCIW Carroll's Conference released its first weekly conference awards of the 23-24 indoor track and field season Wednesday afternoon, with Carroll's Vanessa Utenbrook earning the honor for women's field. And she's a returning indoor All-American, was the winner in the shot put at 13.53 meters last Saturday at the Ripon Winter Open, a throw that currently ranks third in the league and fifth nationally. She's a senior from Kaukauna, Wisconsin. Was also second in the weight throw at Ripon with a personal best mark of 15.66 meters, which is the fifth best throw in Division III. So congrats to those Carroll student athletes. And here with Meredith Marks and Gina Nordum, another favorite student athlete of mine who's gone on. I imagine he's doing well in his freshman years. Meredith's older brother, Evan Marks. How's Evan doing?
He's doing really well.
Great.
He's at MSOE, and he's going for architectural engineering.
Nice.
And yeah, he's doing really well.
I bet.
He tore both of his Achilles.
I
So
remember.
one
Yeah,
and then another.
I saw the one, the
Yeah.
first one against
he's-
Nathan Hale.
Yep.
The first game.
Yeah, and then
So
but now he's all healed, and I think he was actually cleared possibly this week or maybe next week to start up sports again. So he's wanting to do rugby in
I
the
heard,
spring.
yeah.
Then possibly rowing as well.
that'll be great. Hey, speaking of rowing, good movie to check out. And Anya's a huge movie expert. Christmas Night, The Boys in the Boat releases, and that's read the book, especially again student athletes. That's a great read. And it's a true story of the University of Washington men's rowing team that won the NCAA title in 1936, which is a huge coup because it's such an Eastern blue blood sport. And these sons of lumberjacks and Boeing employees did that. And then they went to Berlin in 1936 and beat everybody in the farthest, just by a nose to win the gold medal, and doing that right in front of Hitler. And if you read this book, I forgot the writer's name. He actually went back and he sat in the actual seat where Hitler sat. And he goes, I wonder if he knew that these were the young men, the caliber of people that would bring down his threat to the world. So, yeah, great. I can't wait for that movie to come out.
There's a giveaway going on right now through a site I love called Goodreads to promote the film. You can get a free copy of the book, potentially.
You owe it to yourself.
And there is always a giveaway down at the Waukesha Library. I bet they have a copy.
Thanks. Oh, great point. Love that. Love our Waukesha Library. So, yeah, I may have to run over there after when the show ends at 9. But seriously, one of the heroes in the book is this guy, Joe Smith, who had a real tough upbringing. Mom died when he was young. Dad remarried, and the stepmother wasn't so kind to him. I think even they kind of threw him out of the house, and he was such a good human being. And it was great to see him finish on top. But his daughter lives in Milwaukee.
Oh, wow.
They say that towards the end of the book, and I would love to meet her just to say, your dad was a heck of a guy. And so it'd be neat. I hope she resurfaces in local media with this movie coming out. So another great example of great student athletes. So 2 minutes before our next message, and then we start the second hour. But I want to mention, speaking of local charity support, my guest on January 6th when we come back is Lindsay Johnson, the new executive director of the food pantry serving Waukesha County. She was on briefly a couple weeks back for Small Business Saturday, but I would encourage SALT to take a hard look at how we can serve the food pantry. Food insecurity is still a big issue, even in this affluent Waukesha County. And boy, I think there's a lot that our young student leaders could do to support that cause.
We would love to do that for sure.
Yeah.
Or
Definitely.
talk about it.
Full disclosure, I'm on the board, so but I make no apologies. That's really, as a descendant of famine survivors, I take that very seriously. And then before the break too is When we come back, we're going to talk about a blood drive that the city of Waukesha is sponsoring on the 13th. So much more to unpack in this second hour as This Week in Waukesha continues. Do not go away.
The morning light steals across my window pane, where webs of snow are drifting. If I could only have you near to breathe a sigh or two, I would be happy just to hold the hands I love.